Hi there. Last topic I want to go over today. So this will be the last video I post this Sunday, rounding out our week 2. But I want to talk about Sunday reflections and then this idea of an accountability list. So let's start with Sunday reflections. And I posted this morning. This may have turned off. I posted this morning, sorry, I had a little issue with my headphone here. I posted this morning some questions for you to ask yourself coming into the end of the weekend. And what I want you to do, and the purpose of these Sunday reflections, is to take a moment to look back on the week, see what you are doing throughout the week, and then also to look forward to the upcoming week. What do you need to do to get a plan in place? And really this idea of planning, that topic keeps coming up over and over, right? So I know it sounds like a lot of work at first, but soon you won't feel like you're planning as much because many of these habits will then develop into routines for the long term. So it just kind of automatically happens. We want to set forth a plan in order to decrease the amount of decisions we're making throughout the week and reduce the number of decisions we're making on the fly, right? So start looking forward into the week. Look for any obstacles that are going to get in the way of you eating right or sticking to your plan or hitting your macros if you're doing that. If you have a busy week with work or travel, work lunches, work dinners, kids' activities, what things do you need to plan around? Think of that. Also, talk with the others that you live with, your spouse, your kids, your roommates, whatever it is. What do they have going on so that you can plan accordingly? And I would really recommend trying to write these things down. It makes it a little bit more real and it gives us a chance to really think through it. You start to have a true sense of what you need to do. So the things that I would like you to write down as you work on these Sunday reflections, 4 different things here. So number 1, what did I do really well last week? Think about everything you did, honor and acknowledge that hard work you've done. Give yourself time to notice that. Number 2, what can I do better next week or this week coming? Can I do a better job of meal prep? Own that and do that. Do you need to pack snacks and take those with you throughout the day? Own that and do that. So think about those things that you can do better in this week. Number 3, I want you to write down your why. Why are you doing this? Write it down. Have you already forgotten? We all are doing this for a reason or a purpose, and that why is a good reminder of what it gives this entire thing purpose and that motivation you need. And then number 4, get your meal plan together. So notice if you're coming up short on protein, what do you need to do with your meals this week in order to achieve that number? Add a little more protein. I'm gonna really recommend, if you're still falling short on those protein numbers, and it's okay if you are, adjusting the portion sizes. So instead of 4 ounces of a lean protein, try 5 ounces. Instead of 2 egg whites, let's try for 3 or something like that. So adjust the quantities, and I think that will help a lot. If you are always coming over on fats, what do you need to do with your meal plan to adjust to that? One recommendation I would say is if you're doing all whole eggs, maybe opt for 1 whole egg, 2 egg whites, or something like that. What are you eating that's busting your fats? So let's make a plan to adjust the meals we're eating, and I would like you to write out as much of that meal plan as you can. So those are the 4 things in the Sunday reflection. Now this week I'm going to be touching a lot on outcomes of behavior-based goals. Okay, so we're going to really focus on behavior-based goals this week. In order to keep yourself accountable, I would really like for you to come up with a list. And this goes alongside with the planning as well. So what is that list going to look like? We're going to call it the accountability list. I want you to write down how often you want to do each thing on your list, how many days in the 7 days of a week, okay? So here is an example. On my list, I may say hit macros 5 out of 7 days. So hit macros 5 out of 7. Okay. And then I want to, number 2, pack my lunch for work and snacks the night before. 5 out of 7. So each day this week, work week, right? I also would like you to add to this list things that are just important to you, okay? So that may be yoga 2 days this week, 2 out of 7. Strength training, 4 out of 7. Cardio, 2 out of 7. Sleep, at least 7 hours, 6 out of 7. Maybe you want to add to your list, I want to read at least 15 minutes, 5 out of 7. Go on a walk, 3 out of, you see what I'm doing here? So list those things that are really important to you, and then the number of days you want to do it in these 7 days of a week. You're going to have this list, and you're going to keep track on this list of how many days you comply to those activities. So this is your accountability list. What's important to you? Adjust our expectations of ourselves, right? And compliance is really key. So the reason why, if you're tracking macros, I do recommend you add hit macros, is this is that accountability that we need. We want to do the things we say we're going to do. If you do this, you'll be ready for the week. If you aren't hitting your macros yet, I don't want you to sweat it. It's okay. We'll get you there. But I would like to have a conversation with you so that we can make the adjustments necessary. I'm not necessarily saying I need to change your macros, but we may need to change some of the protein sources or what fats you're implementing into your diet. So let's talk. If you're missing those macro numbers, let's talk. You can email me, you can message me here, whatever it is. So I want you to reach out to me if that macros is challenging for you and you're not meeting those numbers, and we'll go from there. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and here we go into week number 3. You will be receiving the weekly email tomorrow sometime, and it'll have a list of everything we covered this past week, all the posts, the videos, the graphics, everything. So if you missed something along the week, I know there's been a lot of information. Don't sweat it. It's coming in your email tomorrow, and I look forward to hearing from many of you. Have a great week.